Here's because I'm back with another Baddies Caribbean review. Here, let me get my flat ass pillows out the way. I usually get the both mixed up review and recap, but I think it's the same shit. But I want to start calling it recaps because I feel like reviews more like product reviews, like I'm reviewing like the new iPhone, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And a recap is kind of like more for like TV shows and movies and kind of just talking about it and I get my opinion on it really because I have a lot to say and I talk a lot of shit. You guys can see I got a new tattoo. It's my final girl tattoo. It's literally just like a knife, but with like the reflection, it's a girl who is crying. I call it my final girl tattoo because I don't know, it just gives off final girl energy. Like this is the girl who survived it all and everything, and I love horror stuff, so why not make a tattoo during spooky season about horror movies? All right, so there's a lot to talk about. There's like a lot of things that stood out to me this reunion. I definitely feel like they could have just made this reunion mixed up with the other reunion. Like they could just have two parts because this feels like it was just like the bits and ends of it. It doesn't really have, again, structure. But whatever, let's get right into it. So the show starts off with Joe punching Biggie. And I just feel like Biggie is such a freaking punk, y'all. Like that girl is scary as hell. Every single time someone fights her or wants to fight her, she's always backing off and asking. She's like, me? Like, why me? Like, first of all, Jayla did this to you. Smiley, not Smiley, E.T did this to you. Um, right now J.O. is doing it to you, and you're always like, oh my god, like crying wolf, like girl, this is the baddies, like, and then she tries to say like, oh yeah, trying to get clout off of me. Biggie, like you're not that big out there to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like people don't really, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I feel like she does have fans, but I don't think she's really like that bitch, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if Scotty were to get into a fight, people were gonna be like, yes bitch. And this is with like Rollie, like when she fought Rollie, that was kind of iconic, you know, like that's the kind of things we're talking about, like two fat bitches fighting. Yes, you know, but then again, it also just seems like Jo just wants to fight just anybody, just for anybody. But she kind of did explain later why she fought Biggie, and that's because she was like, well, it took me out the house before I could, you know, come in with my friends, aka the replacements, and they jumped her friend Nunu and Kiva. So and Biggie obviously, you know, it's true. Like I mean, Jo told her this. She's like, oh, was it Keva? I don't know which one of the two, but they were just basically saying like, Biggie doesn't want to fight, right? But she jumps in to fights, but she doesn't want to fight. And Anna also jumps into fights, but is also an injury reserve, so she shouldn't be fighting. Like that right there, Jo clocked that shit. Have y'all realized that Jo and Kiva, whatever her name is, actually kind of look like I know they're two bigger girls, but they kind of have like that same like manly face and like the same like football quarterback body. So I don't know, is it just me or do they look alike? So while everything was going on, Anna and like Jo kind of like square up or whatever, and Anna's ready, you know, because she already kind of got in a fight with Nunu, and she's like, I'm not gonna get stuck, and that's the kind of energy Biggie needs to have. Like I know Anna's kind of scary too, but like Anna has more balls than Biggie, and it's crazy because they have different kinds of bodies. Like Anna has like a really slim, skinny body, and Biggie's like big. So like, like I don't know. I feel like they need to trade bodies, and I feel like they'll be down to fight because it seems like both of them are scared, but also they talk a lot of shit, and it's just like at one point someone has to like confront them. Biggie mentions that Meatball does not want to fight her anymore, and I'm kind of wondering like what happened because from what we saw on the actual season, we saw that Biggie, I mean, not just Meatball was like having a knife. She was like having tantrums and like freaking out, thinking Jo was gonna like come into the house. So why does Meatball, I don't know, where have no more beef anymore? Like was she scared the whole time? Like when we're talking about Meatball here, we're talking about Hood Meatball that just took on everyone else on part two and part one. Like what? I really wonder what happened with that situation because they did just not send Jo home for no reason. Like that's not fair to be honest. If it got squashed, why did they send her home in the first place? I do like how the reserves or the replacements Zeus trying to be bougie and new, trying to make it reserves. Girl, it's replacements. But anyways, I like how the reserves are staying together. It doesn't seem like any of them are falling out with each other. It seems like they're all having each other's back. From J.O. to freaking Nunu and Keva and Heaven. Like, it seems like they're all having their back, which I like. Like, I like how they did like turning on each other for like the originals or like to show out, you know. Biggie claims to, like I said, not have people not to fight people because of clout. I'm like, girl, you're not Natalie. I'm sorry. I feel like if you get to fight Natalie, that's when you're kind of getting clout because she is the CEO. She is in the top. So you're kind of like trying to fight the king. But Biggie, you're really just like, you're not king. You're not queen. You're more like the princess, but like the less princess. Like, what do you call them? Not the peasant, but like the one above the peasant. Like, you're there. You're not really up there to be like, oh my gosh, someone fought Biggie. Like, so I like how Saucy Santana was checking her because this girl kept saying relentless things, just going off on anything. And Saucy was like, are you gonna fight her or not? If not, like, shut the hell up already because you're just going on run-on sentences. You're, you know, at this point, you're just proving that you're scary instead of proving that you're this top-notch person that can't be touched. Like, no, you are scary. And I'm glad Santana was calling her out because, like, I feel like if he didn't call her out, she would have gone away with all that shit. Like, no one would have noticed had Saucy Santana not been calling her out in the background. Like, I'm glad the audience caught that. In the midst of all this, Tommie out of nowhere tries attacking Biggie, and I feel like she got sick of her. I feel like everyone in the stage was getting sick of Biggie, so she started kind of like attacking her, and it seemed like she was about to start fighting her, and like she really wanted to punch her, you know. And I'm surprised Tommie actually didn't punch her. I'm waiting for the day for Tommie to do that because that would be the most iconic fight, Tommie versus Biggie. Like, finally, like, Tommie had enough. With that fight, suddenly Tommie versus Rollie actually started activating, which we should have gotten last part. I don't know why they cut this for this part, but whatever. um So yeah, they ended up fighting, and even though it was just hair pulling, Rolly did kind of win the fight. Like, she kind of had the upper hand, and like I said, I'm gonna keep giving Rolly the MVP points because that girl has gotten hands ever since she got her ass whooped by Jayla. Like, she learned. I don't know if she boxed or if she like finger, or if she like lifts with her finger or something, but like, that girl has really been proving to me that she's one of the best fighters in Baddies history. Biggie's claiming that she is selling out clubs and people are going to her events or whatever. Homegirl, she's literally coming to Denver, Colorado, and no one's going. Like, people have shared it, but no one's really excited. People are more excited for dissect to come, but Biggie had a come through, I guess, and people in the comments are like, why Biggie? Why Biggie? Well, bitch, because they're friends. So then Biggie is continuing to talk shit, but in the audience section, Taseki's calling her out, Anna's calling her out, Santana's calling her out. At this point, like, we're all sick of Biggie at this point. She's proven to us that she is not a baddie. That's not a bad girl. That makes no motherfucking money. Like, she's really not a baddie to me, in my word. Her and Scotty are just, they cannot come back next season. Even though they already kind of released the cast for Midwest, but I hope after Midwest they don't come back, okay? Because we need new bitches, and we need bitches that are not scary. And unfortunately, Scotty's scary, and well, actually, she fought Natalie, so, and Biggie didn't. So I think Biggie gets the scary award for baddies. Saucy continues to keep humbling Biggie, talking about get up on stage and square up because this is what this is about. You know, stop talking shit as he should. You know, that's, I think he was kind of saying what we were all saying. So I'm glad that someone checked Biggie at least because that girl was running freely, and so was Anna. Tommie is like blacked out, going off on um the securities at this point. She's trying to fight them, fighting the the boom guy with the microphone, fighting the camera guy over here, camera guy 36, camera guy 2. Like, she is fighting the whole set at this point. She's fighting the makeup artist. Like, she is just blacked out. And I hate when she blacks out. She always takes it out on staff. She needs to stop doing this. I'm glad, like, I found out recently that they are no longer associating anything with Tommie, which they shouldn't. That girl should have been in jail a long time ago, because she is violent, y'all. She has some kind of like PTSD or something, because that girl has engraved violence into her. That is not normal. What I realized, y'all, from the outfits, like, I kind of stopped paying attention to the outfits after part 1, but I realized that Anna was just like a pirate. Like, was I the only one that got that? Like, a pirate, or like Michael Jackson from Thriller, like something like that. I don't know, like, I like that girl's outfit, I'm not gonna lie. So, oh my god, what kept pissing me off about this reunion was Janisha. That girl is the worst host ever. She's been hosting, what, like 4 or 5 seasons already, and that girl can never control it. Everyone's always speaking over her. She's always trying to have them calm down, but they still kind of speak over her. Everyone is legit ignoring her. Everyone is legit everyone is legit ignoring her. No one really cares what she has to say. She barely was able to control the reunion. The legit last 10 minutes, when everyone was saying their last and final words, that was the only time she can actually control the reunion and actually have the people sit down and talk. But not even too far from that, bitches started fighting. It's one thing to just allow the girls to fight, you know, whatever, this is what the show's about. But the fact that they're talking over you, like, she was legit in the middle of a question, and I think Keva or Jo just started blurting out shit, arguing and shit, talking shit, and like no one even got to know what Janisha was asking. Like, that's how you know this girl cannot control her motherfucking reunion. Tanisha from Bad Girls Club, whenever she'll fucking yell at you talking about, this is my stage, boo, get off my stage. Dia comes in out of nowhere. I don't know where she comes out like lost as fuck, like didn't even announce her name or anything. And right away she comes at freaking Heavenly, or whatever her name is. And I'm like, what? Like, Dia's on the show? Like, oh, I forgot all about Dia. And Saucy was calling her Delilah. Like, okay, like, not close, but whatever. Heavenly is entertaining. That girl Heavenly, I don't know her name, but she was cute. She got like the little like burnt like little like front thingy with like the prints and stuff, and like her eyebrow was cute. Like, she's cute. She really does give off baddies vibes. She's entertaining. Like, the last couple, like the few little like stances that she was doing, she like the come on, like, I was like, okay, girl, like, you can tell she's cocky, you can tell she's that bitch. I do think she should come back on the next season, even as a replacement, even as a one episode. Like, I do like Heavenly. And honestly, I feel like she should have been the original over Dia. Dia was not entertaining. She only had a storyline when people were calling her out. She never really tried anybody there. But her accent, y'all. I'm not gonna sit here, like, I'm someone who loves hearing people speak with their accent or speak with a different language, because it just sounds so funny to me. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. I know people are like, oh, that's rude as fuck. I'm really open to people talking a different language in front of me. I don't care. But it just sounds different. It sounds weird. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. To me, you're talking gibberish, and I'm gonna giggle, you know? And whenever she says bitch, she says batch, batch, batch. Fuck you, bitch. Like, I'm like, okay, bitch. Like, I'm gonna start saying it, bitch. Like, she says it with the E, and she kind of extends it. She's like, bitch. Yeah, Heaven and Dia started fighting, and I don't know why they started fighting, really. I'm guessing it was over some internet thing, but like I said, with Zeus's structure and editing, we don't really know what the fuck is going on with half of these bitches. Like, they could have at least given us like a couple of pictures or a little insight or something, but I don't know, like, the fact that they just started fighting for no reason. I really didn't understand why they started fighting until after, you know, they were like being pulled away and they were just being like separated or whatever. I didn't really know why they were fighting. I guess Heavenly, or whatever her name is, she talked about Dia's brother that had passed away, which if I was Dia, I would have been like 10 times what she was at the reunion. I'm not gonna lie. But I commend her for, you know, doing all that, but I'm not gonna lie. Dia got her ass beat on the first reunion without even a try. Like, the Heaven said, boop, and this bitch fell, and oh girl, that angle, whoever took that angle of Heavenly punching Dia that needs a raise or something, because that gave Heavenly a really good like fighter angle view or whatever. And I have another round, and on this one it kind of does seem like Dia was kind of winning, because the fight was kind of awkward. They kind of started wrapping each other around each other, and like Heavenly was kind of like facing the other way, kind of like stuck and everything, and Dia was kind of like punching her. So I do give this second round to Dia. I feel like second rounds are always needed, just because like you never know if you can get it the next one, you know what I'm saying? You never know if you got like your hook in, you know, and just kind of start pounding bitches. So I do like how they gave them a second round, and I'm not gonna lie, Dia kind of ate that second round. But in the middle of all this, Jo and Teseki started arguing, and it got to the point where they started to call each other out, but they didn't end up fighting, because it seems like they're actually kind of friends, and it doesn't seem like they're scared of each other. I don't think Jo is scared of Teseki, and Teseki is not scared of Jo. I feel like they're just both, or is it Jo? Kevin, I don't know that girl's name, okay? But whole point is that I don't think they're scared of each other. I think they're both like big, bulky girls. Do I think Teseki would win? Yes. But do I think Jo would give it her try and probably, you know, do a little bit of damage? Yes. But definitely that would have been a really good fight to see, I'm not gonna lie. Throughout the whole Dia and Heavenly situation, Wendell Lee is also somehow involved, and she fights Dia too. She's trying to jump in her too. I don't understand where Wendell. I didn't even know she was at the reunion either. I I was like, where did this bitch come from? Like but then I kind of rewind the show, and she was also arguing with Biggie, and I'm like, they got beef too. Like, how did Wendy get beef? She only had like 2 episodes. Like, she didn't even talk to anybody. Like, I understand. I don't know how she ended up beefing, but what I did hear during the argument, Biggie said, I'll see you next season. I'll see you next season. So is Wendell Lee gonna be a replacement? Is Heavenly gonna replacement? Are they gonna walk in together? You know what I'm saying? Like, since they didn't get the spot last season, is this gonna be the spot the next season? Or are they gonna both be on Baddies Gone Wild? Like, yeah, it could go. But anyways, E.T comes out, and I think this bitch is ridiculous. Like, this girl is like not even funny, you know? Like, you're gonna come out glammed up, eyelashes, wig, all just to come out legit as soon as you're legit walking out, being introduced, taking all that off and getting knocked out. Like, that must have been really embarrassing. I bet she felt empowered. Like, I bet she felt like, this is my time. Like, this is my shine. Like, this is me. Like, this is gonna get me on the next season. But Rollie stopped that dream, sis. Rollie said, bitch, I'm Freddy Krueger, and I'm gonna fucking kill your dreams. Like, because the way Rollie knocked her down. So after their first round, Rollie's like trying to be apologetic, trying to be cool, trying to have like a heart to heart. And I hate how she like had to bring up that she's a Virgo, which is why she's like such a terrible person. First of all, don't ever blame the zodiac or why a person is shitty. Et is just ghetto hood, and she doesn't have that kind of like restrainment or whatever. Like, she doesn't have that kind of like home, what do you call it, she doesn't have that home etiquette, I guess you want to say. So I'm a Virgo, and I don't feel like I'm anything like Et. So I hear that Et was like, or Rollie was like, oh, I get you're a Virgo, and this is not like, no, don't blame it on that. It's like Et is just a desperate housewife person. Rollie's giving out a freaking Emmy Award, Nobel Prize ass speech to freaking Et. Et don't give a fuck. She said, bah, 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 like, she went at her again. Rollie should have not done that. I understand why Et attacked her, because like, it's too late now. It's too late for the apologize. It's too late to apologize. Y'all already had to fight twice. It's been a whole year and a half since like that incident happened in East, so it's kind of like there's no reason for us to try to amend things. There's no reason for us to be sisters again. Like, girl, it's too late. Like, why are you trying to be cool now? Like, it didn't make sense why Rollie was trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Or maybe she just really did care about E.T. and was genuinely hurt about their friendship ending. I don't know. Rollie kind of does. She kind of does seem like a bully sometimes, but I feel like deep down inside she's really not a bully. The host finally gets a hold of the reunion after like 3 hours, and I finally get to talk to their speeches. I didn't really care to hear the speeches that much. The only one that kind of stood up to me was Jayla's, because absolutely nobody cared. She's trying to make like a final like dramatic exit. Nobody cared. Even like Gretchen was like, "Girl, shut up! Like next, like MTV next, like hurry up." Okay, so last but not least, Meatball and Tinkerbella are finally back on stage, and they're like talking about their last final moments. And before you know it, Meatball throws a freaking chair at Tinka, but ends up hitting Anna. And ow, like, I'm sorry, but Zeus needs to have some kind of like fee or something to be throwing objects at people and hitting people and stuff, because that can like concuss a concussion. That's a whole ass lawsuit. I don't know why Zeus hasn't like stopped people from doing this. I've been seeing all these objects being thrown at people in the past reunions. This reunion, why are they still allowing this to happen? Poor freaking Anna. She really got that like the full chair thrown at her. She is small. The chair probably weighs more than her. Bless that girl, because she done got her ass beat before that too. So it's like, oof, girl, I know that girl came home stressed. Biggie's running is my current favorite meme right now. I am legit using that meme for everything. That was probably the only iconic thing Biggie did. But yeah, guys, that was the end of Baddies Caribbean. That was a very interesting reunion. I don't know what to say. Everybody was so like extra and crazy this reunion. Everyone kind of gave. The girls gave. The hosts are terrible, and Lemmy, Zeus, whoever needs to replace them. Um, let's see. My favorite of this episode definitely has to be. Who's my favorite on this episode? Um, I'm gonna give it to Rollie. Surprisingly, I don't like the bitch. I don't care for the bitch, but I'm gonna give my first place of the episode to Rollie, just because she whooped Tommie's ass and she whooped E.T.'s ass. And Tommie, I mean, Rollie is not a small girl. Like, I feel like she really struggles fighting. So for her to be able to do all that, it takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot of energy. Least favorite this episode definitely has to be Biggie. I'm sorry, but that girl's scary as hell. I don't know what her future holds these next couple. I don't know what her future holds with the next season. I heard a lot of controversy with her and Natalie and Stunner Girl. So I really hope that like they like leave. I really hope that they kick her out with a bang. I really do. And that motherfucking Natalie Nunn does a final dinner and freaking fires her and does the Shawnee O'Neal. Thank you for your services. I say my favorite fight of this episode. I want to start doing fights too now, since like this what this show's about. But my favorite fight on this episode has to be when Biggie got punched and was crying about it. Like, that shit was hilarious. That girl was shocked. Alright, Addie's Midwest is coming November 3rd, so I will try my best to post that video. Well, thanks for watching my YouTube video, guys. This is me talking my shit about the Baddies reunion, reunion part 3.